Race number 2 in the round of 12 edition of the NASCAR playoffs of 2019 heads to one of the most unpredictable events in all of NASCAR, that Talladega Superspeedway, a 2.66 mile behemoth of racetrack, will play host for the 2019 1000bulbs.com 500 air at Talladega. Welcome to the Inside the Lines Race Day Edition show. My name is Jack Krause. Thank you so much for tuning in as I get you set and ready for today's 2019 1000bulbs.com 500 from Talladega Superspeedway and race number 2 of the round of 12 playoffs of 2019 for the Cup Series. Let's not waste any time to take a look at the news you need to know. Now, yesterday was the truck races event. This was race number 1 of the round of 6. And let's just say they had a controversial way of ending things off. Let's take a look at the race recap. We're not going to start early on. The majority of the race, in fact, the entire race, featured a lot of aggressive racing. However, surprisingly, we didn't see a lot of wrecks. We saw a couple of 1 to 2 car incidents, like we saw Harrison Burton spin off of the tri-oval. Gus Dindo took a massive hit off of turn 2 into the inside wall. Thankfully, he was okay. And like I said, the racing was very aggressive but very clean. We didn't see a lot of big wrecks until 8 laps ago. Ross Chastain, the race leader, blocking a bit too hard, gets turned by the 2 car of Sheldon Creed, collects a lot of drivers involved. Timothy Peters involved, Cody Robach involved, Natalie Decker, Brian Tazal, Clay Greenfield are among the drivers that were involved in that turn 4 crash. That sets up an overtime restart with Johnny Sauter as the race leader, and coming off of turn 4, Riley Herbst in the 51 truck gets a huge run. He gets up to the back end of Sauter, goes below underneath Sauter. Sauter then forces Herbst below the yellow line, and at the line, Johnny Sauter wins. Does the burnouts, does all that, but that'd be all for nothing. NASCAR would penalize Johnny Sauter for forcing a driver below the yellow line. Now you think, okay, well then that means Riley Herbst would be the winner. Not exactly. Let's take a look back at the footage again. Now yes, Herbst was forced below the yellow line, but before the start-finish line, Herbst got passed by then 3rd place driver Spencer Boyd. At the line, Boyd was then 2nd, and with Sauter being disqualified, Spencer Boyd would be the race winner. That's right, Spencer Boyd wins his first ever NASCAR Gainer Outdoor Truck Series event at Talladega Superspeedway. A really crazy way to end the race. Let's take a look at the unofficial results. Following, I shouldn't say unofficial results, it's already been official. After tech has been confirmed, Boyd is the winner. Let's take a look at the results following Talladega. Spencer Boyd wins, starting 25th. I believe this is one of the rare times where a driver that won the race didn't actually lead a single lap, but good job by the KBM drivers, Todd Gilliland and Riley Herbst 2nd and 3rd. Brett Moffitt, the highest of the playoff drivers, in 4th. Stuart Friesen in 5th. Austin Hill in 6th. Tyler Ankrum in 7th. Matt Crafton in 8th. Sheldon Creed in 9th. And Grant Enfinger rounds up the top 10. On to the next page. 11th is Harrison Burton. 12th is Ben Rhodes. Corbin Forrester in 13th. I believe that's his best finish in the truck so far. Johnny Sauter in 14th. With him being penalized, he moves to the last place on the last spot on the lead lap, which is 14th. Teammates Anthony Alfredo and Natalie Decker 15th and 16th, Brian Talzad in 17th, Norm Benning in 18th, Jesse Uwuji in 19th, and Gusting rounds out the top 20. Now from here on below, these are drivers that are caught up in accidents early on in the race, like Jordan Anderson, Ross Chastain, the lowest of the playoff drivers, 22nd he finishes, Timothy Peters, Cody Robach, Clay Greenfield, Brendan Poole, Jennifer Jo Cobb, Angela Rue, Austin Wayne Self, John Hunter Nemechek, Tyler Dipple, and Masson Macy rounds out the field. Now let's take a look at the 2019's playoff standings heading into Martinsville. Moffitt is the points leader, 45 points ahead. Stuart Friesen in 2nd, 22 points ahead. Austin Hill in 3rd, 12 points ahead. Matt Crafton holds the final spot, 1 point ahead. Tyler Ankrum is the first one out, 1 point behind. And Ross Chastain dead last, 2 points behind. Kind of expected Ross Chastain to cause that. If you watch the race, as soon as he got to the lead, he look, I like it when drivers are aggressive. I like it. But it's like 8-9 laps to go. You don't, like, yes, you have to be aggressive, but that was just being reckless, I feel like, what Chastain was doing. And again, I like it when drivers are aggressive, especially early on. I like to see that aggression throughout the entire race, but at the same time, you have to, like, know, like, okay, when to back off. You know, there was no way and I Chastain did say in an interview that it was his fault, you know, poor judgment on his part. I'm glad he acknowledged that, but I'm just saying he's been ruffling some feathers, not only in trucks but also in Xfinity. I remember one between him and Justin Allgaier at Watkins Glen. He's very aggressive, And while it's got to giving him a lot of wins, it's also giving him a lot of trouble. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in Martinsville and Phoenix, the last two races of the round of 6. Also, I should point about Ross Chastain. It was just confirmed earlier today, at the time of this recording, that he will be confirming joining Kaulig Racing in 2020. So there you go, just like a little confirmation there. Chastain will be heading to Xfinity Series and driving most likely the number 10 Kaulig Racing Chevrolet for the Xfinity Series Championship in 2020. Now on to the round of 12 Talladega. Kyle Larson is probably the only one that probably had a good night's sleep last night, because he's the only driver that knows he's advancing onto the round of 8. Let's look at the standings right now. Kyle Larson, the only one located in green. He starts 12th in today's race. Martin Truex Jr. in 2nd. 63 points ahead. Denny Hamlin, his teammate, 48 points ahead. Starting dead last due to an engine change. 4th is Kyle Busch, who starts 26th, also 48 points ahead. Kevin Harvick in 5th, 42 points ahead. Brad Keselowski, the new dominator, the new Pied Piper of Talladega, starts 6th, 20 points ahead. Alex Bowman in 7th. William Byron tied for 8th. He holds the final spot, 0 points ahead. He starts 3rd for today's event. Joe Logano in 9th, starts 10th, -0, first one out. Clint Bowyer in 10th. Chase Elliott in 11th, who starts on pole today, 7 points below. And Ryan Blaney starts in 9th in the 12th spot, 22 points below the cut line. Now let's take a look at your starting grid for today's 2019 1000bulbs.com 500. It's an all row two. The first 2 rows are all Hendrick cars for the second time, I believe, this season. The first time came in the Daytona 500. The first 2 rows are all covered by a Hendrick driver. Chase Elliott wins the pole for today's Talladega event. On the outside of him is Alex Bowman. Row 2 has William Byron and teammate Jimmy Johnson, the highest of the non-playoff drivers. Row 3 has a pair of Fords, Eric Almirola, the defending winner, and Brad Keselowski, a 6-time winner, I believe, Talladega. Row 4 is Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the 2017 spring winner. On the outside of him is Clint Bowyer. Row 5 has Ryan Blaney and Joe Logano's teammate, who's outside. Row 6 has Eric Jones and last week's winner, Kyle Larson. Row 7 has another pair of Fords, Ryan Newman and Paul Menard, in his final Talladega race. Watch out for him. There could be reports that he might sit out or might not be able to finish the entire race. Matt Crafton is there as a relief driver. Row 8 has Kevin Harvick and Matt Tifft. Row 9 has David Reagan, also in his final Talladega start. And on the outside of him is Martin Truex Jr. Daniel Suarez and Austin Dillon make up row 10. Ty Dillon and his brother, in a throwback to Richard Childress, one of his early paint schemes, starts in row 11. On the outside of him is Michael McDowell. Row 12 has Chris Buescher and Kurt Busch. Row 13 has Landon Castle and Kyle Busch. Row 14 has Bubba Wallace and Brendan Gaughan. Row 15 has Daniel Hemrick and Ryan Preece. Matt DiBenedetto and Parker Kligerman make up row 16. Corey LaJoie and Ross Chastain, row 17. Blake Jones and Joey Gase, row 18. Austin Terrio and Reed Sorensen, row 19. And right out the field is Spencer Boyd, the Talladega Truck Series winner. And on the outside of him is Denny Hamlin. As I said earlier, he's starting last due to an engine change. Now, what can we expect at Talladega? I think you're going to see a very exciting race. This 2019 package, even though it has its flaws, one thing that it has perfectly excelled at is on the super speedways. The 2019 Talladega race in the spring and the 2019 July race at Daytona produced fantastic, close, action-packed racing from start to finish. I see nothing less here today. Now, one thing though that I feel like a lot of people have, or at least I felt like with Talladega, specifically in the fall race, is that the big one. Every time you go to Talladega, you hear the big one, but I feel like, the past few races, it has been less of a concern because this package, it just kept on providing single file racing. That's out the window now. The big one, don't be surprised if you see the big one probably halfway through the race. We've seen it so far during speed weeks, even with the 2019 package in the Daytona 500, or the 2018 package, I should say. We have seen the big one. 2019 spring at Talladega, we saw on the last lap of the race. In July, we saw it, I believe, halfway through the race. With the way this package sets up racing, speeds are higher than ever. Cars are closer than ever. They're beating, they're banging. You can now push a lot more now than you could in the old package. You're going to see a lot of beating and banging, and that could potentially lead to more aggressive moves, which in turn will then lead to more likelihood of a big crash. So expect that today. Another thing that I don't think you're going to expect, however, is a repeat of what took place last fall. Now let's flash back to what happened back in 2018, the fall race. Stewart-Haas Racing absolutely dominated the Talladega race. Harvick, Eric Almirola, Kurt Busch, and Clint Bowyer dominated Talladega. I believe they led all but maybe 6 or 7 laps of the entire race between that organization. Eric Almirola ended up winning the race, and with I believe Harvick and Boyer finishing second and third. Kurt was about to win, or at least be within the top 4, but he ran out of fuel. So I don't think you're going to see that today because of this new package, and I think it's still fresh on the crew guys' minds, so they might not have a complete wraparound on this package. Like some people might say, oh, what about Hendrick Motorsports? You know, all 4 of them, they're in the top 4. Can you see a Hendrick version of that today? Don't think you're going to see that. I think you're going to see just a well-rounded event, well-rounded race, I should say. A lot of lead changes, a lot of exciting racing today. But now let's go on to the driver who I really think should win. Would I like for there to be a non-playoff driver winning? Absolutely. I think that would just spoil the party for sure. But the driver that I think that's going to win is the driver that's starting in second place. Alex Bowman in the number 88 Amazon Echo Nationwide, whatever, Camaro ZL1. I feel like he's going to go back to victory lane for the second time this season. He went really good in the spring event. Him and Chase Elliott worked together tremendously, specifically in that last portion of stage 3. And I think we're going to see, again, maybe not Stewart Haas exact or Stewart Haas version of that, but I think you're going to see the Hendrick cars working really well, specifically between Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman. Maybe Byron and Johnson, I don't see them really being that much of a factor, but I really see Bowman and Elliott really taking charge as the Chevy group. And then don't be surprised you see them up front for a great portion of the race. And I feel like Alex Bowman is going to be able to get away from all the carnage, be able to position himself out in front, and I think he's going to go to victory lane and advance into the round of 8. But that is going to conclude this episode of Inside Lines from Talladega Superspeedway. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Once again, guys, thank you so much for 2,000 subscribers. We just hit a few days ago. I forgot to mention this in my last video, but I just want to say thank you to each and every single one of you. And hopefully we can have another 1,000 soon. I'm getting greedy, I know, but again, thank you so much for it. And I would not be able to do all of this without you. So once again, thank you so much. What are you guys' thoughts on this Talladega race? What do you think is going to happen? Who do you think is going to go victory lane later today? Tell me in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. But until next time, my name is Jack Ross from NASCAR on MDK, and I'll see you guys in the next video.